Oh, quit that. There we go. Let's see here. It is 3:17 p.m. in the afternoon, Sunday, and got on here because of something I read in the paper. Now, it's raining today and it's cold. Boy, I tell you, I think it's in the 40s, which is chilly for here. Wind's blowing about 40 miles an hour. Nah, it isn't blowing that hard. It's 20, but it's chilly. Chill factor and all that stuff. And it rained last night. Not a whole lot, but it rained, which is great. Because one thing a lot of people forget is that this is what you call a semi-arid area. We live in Texas, and amongst the other things a lot of people don't realize is that Texas has a lot of lakes, but none of them are natural. There's not one natural lake in the state of Texas, except for oh shoot, it's over there on the Louisiana state line. Sabine, Lake Sabine, Sabine Bayou, Lake Sabine, runs on the state line between Louisiana and Texas. And other than that, if you ever look on a map and you see all these lakes, they're all man-made. And what has happened, of course, is over the years, predominantly the federal government, back in the 30s under the New Deal, they went in and they took these rivers, which run from northwest to southeast here in Texas. Some of them pretty good-sized rivers. They'd be big rivers if they just weren't in Texas, you know. But anyway, there's Brazos and Trinity and Sabine. Well, Sabine's in East Texas, but there's a lot. What is that thing down there on the Mexican border? Rio Grande. And all these rivers are dammed in sequential, in several places. And there are lakes, and pretty good sized ones. Big lakes. Well, one of the things these depend upon, of course, is runoff. And you get runoff from rain. And I want to say in the last 3 to 5 years, I think 2011 was a wet year. But other than that, it has not been wet here. And we've been drawing down these lakes. The runoff hasn't been there. Texas has got 20-odd million people living in it now. 26 million? Something on that order. I think somebody can correct me if somebody is more into statistics than that, but since actually in the 60s and 70s, Texas has just exploded. And industry, people coming in here for the jobs for the industries and whatnot. And of course, all this taxed the water reserves. And now we're getting to the point where there isn't any more. And these reservoirs, I can name a few. Lake Whitney, Eagle Mountain Lake, Lake Joe Hubbard, Lake, what is that one that's down there where Tiana's brother lives? Well, anyway, they're big lakes. For you guys up in New York, Siegel North, they're as big as Lake Chautauqua. There's lots of them. And up until very recently, they have provided ample water. Well, now we've had 3 to 4 years of drought. I think, like I say, I think 2011 was a fairly wet year. But the rivers that feed these catch basins, they're not feeding the water in. The runoff's just not there. In this headline here, on the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, it says, potty water likely to flow from taps in Wichita Falls. Well, actually, that's been done around the country in several states and municipalities. You know, they take the old flush water and recycle it and then put it back in the system. But Wichita Falls is doing it because they don't have enough water. They're having to trap and recycle their potty water. I forget how many million, 5 million gallons of treated effluent a day and mixed with reservoir water. That's a lot of potty water. I wonder what they're doing with the rest of the, effluents, as they call it. They're making fertilizer out of it, I guess. But the crux of it is that we're running out of water. And nobody seems to have a plan against the day. I read in this article in the newspaper here that if things go as they are present, and we have the rainfall rates that we've had the last couple, 3 years, we have about 2 years of water left. That's kind of a final thing when you read that. Let me see if I can find this here. Yeah, rain would be even better, whatever this guy's name is, if conditions stay the same. If we don't have a summer like 2011, and I remember I mentioned that 2011 was wet, we've got about 2 years worth of water left. Hopefully we'll get some rain. Hopefully we'll get some rain. Well, we've had 3 years without it. What makes them think we're going to get any more? I would think that they'd start trying to have an alternative plan. Because if it ever gets to the point where that 6 million folks that live up in Dallas-Fort Worth, they reach up and they turn the water tap on and it goes gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Now, a human being can only last about 3 to 5 days without water. You got the tap going, gurgle, gurgle, fizz. No water. You run down to your Dollar General, see, of course, it's bottled water, and it's all gone. What do you do? I mean, really? I mean, seriously, what do? Would seem like that the powers that be here in the state of Texas would be formulating a plan against such a day. I don't hear them doing nothing. Nope, hey, it'll rain. Well, very well might. But it hadn't rained the last 3 years, speak of, hadn't filled those lakes up there, just going down, down, down. Are we going to get to gurgle, gurgle, fizz, fizz? I have an idea. I get down there saying I morph myself into Rick Perry's bodyguard. That'd be terrible. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. Perry's not one of my favorite people. But let's say that all of a sudden, I'm the governor. What would I do? I know that we potentially have a calamity coming at us. What would I do to maybe forestall the calamity? Well, I don't know how many folks have heard about desalination, but we've got a coast. We have a water coast. 1,000 miles? All water. Salt water, but all water. Probably down to a median depth of 5,000-6,000 feet. Now we're talking lots of water. It's not the kind of stuff you can drink, but it's water. Well, The Saudis, I'm going to change subjects a little bit. The Saudis over there in the Middle East, they live in a desert. It isn't semi-arid, it's arid. And they seem to have essentially all the water they want. Where do they get it? Well, what they've done is they have built desalination plants along their Red Sea coast, suck that salt water in. There are several processes which you can take the salt out of seawater and make it into fresh water. But they do it. It tends to be expensive. But if you don't have any water, you've turned the tap, it's gone. There isn't any. The wells, you've sucked the water table wells down to where you can't even reach them anymore. They're dry. What do you do? As the governor today, I would be trying to instigate a program where we would build at least a series of desalination plants down there on the Gulf Coast. And we'd start sucking that Gulf Coast salt water in, desalinating, back flushing it into some of these reservoirs that are some are 30, 40, 50% down. And do you know that we'd never, ever be short of water again? Now, it would be an expensive proposition. But people dying of thirst in 3 to 5 days, it just doesn't seem like an option to me. It just doesn't. And I understand that I saw the cost per gallon of converting seawater to fresh water. And it's not nearly as prohibitive as it once was. So, to ensure against the day when we turn the tap and it goes, I think that the state of Texas and maybe, I don't think New Mexico's got a coast. But we could sell them water. If we set up the desalination plants down on the Gulf Coast, you could run them from Florida all the way around. We would never, ever have a water shortage again. I mean, we're spending billions on wind generators for electrical power. We're spending billions on those glass things that make electricity. Solar panels, that's right. I mean, we are rapidly converting to a energy efficient society. We are working on relieving ourselves of our dependence on carbon-based fuels, coal, oil, gas, whatnot. They'll still be around for 40, 50 years, but we're getting to the point where, we're finally getting smart. Well, let me tell you something. This business with the water is going to make carbon-based fuels look like child's play, particularly here in the South, where all our water is from drainage and collection basins. So, I think if I was the governor, tomorrow, that's Monday, I would go down to my local legislature down in Austin. I'd say, this is what we're gonna do, guys. We need to do it for the welfare of our constituents and the good folks of Texas. And we are gonna invest whatever it takes to put these plants down on the coast, and we're never gonna be out of water again. So, have a nice cool drink. You folks up in Siegel North, I can't say that you've ever been plagued with this. I know that there have been droughts and the grounds have got dry, but those woods up there, the sugar maples and the elms and everything that just cover all those hills up there, they hold a lot of water. I mean, even the most mundane little creek up there will have water running through it all the time, and the wells produce water and whatnot. Ain't that way here. If it wasn't for a man, this would essentially be a desert, and we need to look to the future, because particularly let's be the devil's advocate and say global warming is what it is. It's going to get drier here. I mean, this place, it's going to be, and like I say, a person lives about 3 to 5 days without water, and boy, they'll do terrible things to each other. If the other guy's got a glass of water, screw you, give it to me, and I'll drink it. Yeah, there'll be pandemonium. So we need to put those desalination plants down on the coast. Let's see here. I have, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Today's 17th, I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, my trusty automated calendar here. Ah, today's the 16th. Sunday the 16th. And I was just, the thing in the paper got my attention. It said we had 2 years worth of water. That's kind of final. And they need to do something about it. Okay, John Zimbardi, if you ever get on here, howdy to you. I haven't heard anything about David. I need to call today. Cooter, saw you today. Nice truck, did good. Crystal, see you tomorrow. My sons Kyle and Carl. Kyle, I can hardly wait till next weekend. I understand you'll be here. Tracy, help me with my crusade. We need desalination plants. Heights and Raider, you live there in Carolina. It's got lots of hills and valleys and good watersheds. You don't have that problem. Ike, you lived out here on the Sabine, yeah, so you haven't got any water problems either. Daryl Mackey, hope you've stayed on top of David. I don't know how he's doing. It didn't sound good. Tyler, I think you're supposed to be in Waco. Hope you're having a good day. Carl and Bradford, top of the day to you. Jim Kersey. Guess I'll see you in about 100 days, give or take. Looking forward to it. Anyway, we good folks here at Siegel South need to do something, because that business there in the newspaper, they don't, that's panic stuff. To me, if I had my way, the state government would efficiently and expeditiously solve this problem, and there would be no need for any, radical stuff in the newspaper. But there it is, 2 years worth of water, if everything stays the same. So, let's start sucking the salt out of the Gulf. We'll never be short on water. You folks have a fine one. Save me a spot up there at Siegel North.